OneeChanbara Origin is a 2019 remake of the first two OneeChanbara games, originally released for the PlayStation 2, and one thing that will hit you straight away when you start playing is this is a DMC clone. I'll admit one big difference is the number of enemies, as there are way more in OneeChanbara than there are in DMC, but it's still a hack and slash, and it's not just the gameplay that's similar, it's the story as well, because the story is incredibly derivative, and the sibling rivalry between Aya and Saki, two of the main characters, could not be more similar to Dante and Virgil if it tried. The colours they represent are exactly the same as well. I do like this game quite a lot, actually. It's one of my favourite games I've played in recent times. I played it a few months ago now, but I enjoyed it a lot. I'd probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. I had a blast with this game, even if it does have a handful of problems, which I will dig into today, while I also sing its praises. I'm going to dig into this fan service filled mess of a zombie blood and anime bikini girls. Let's dive in and take a look. Let's talk core gameplay and mechanics first. It's not too deep. I don't really have to delve into this too much because there's not too much to go into. With DMC, there are a lot of different ways you can play. It's a very deep combat system. Not the deepest combat system of all time, but it is deep enough to the point where it warrants playing the game like 5 fucking times if you want to, because I know a lot of people do play DMC, especially DMC 5, a lot. I had a friend who played through it like 10 times. No idea how he didn't get bored, but he played it 10 times, and it's a short game, so you can do that. But the gameplay in OneeChanbara is mostly spamming square and triangle, and while that's objectively not great in terms of being deep, I honestly had a blast with it. I don't care, call me stupid, call me like small-minded, or just like a brainless idiot, but this game's really fun. I mean, just look at the gameplay now. This is fun. I'm just spamming square here, but I enjoyed it. I played the game through 5 times because it's 4 hours long, so it was only about 20 hours in total, so you can see how I managed to have a blast with this, even if it is incredibly repetitive. There are a number of combos you can use, but the core combat of just pressing square is more effective 90% of the time, so you should just do that. But yeah, this game's fun, so fuck you, I don't care. To stop you from getting too ahead of yourself, the game has you reloading your sword every now and then. You just press L1 to get the blood off of it, that's it. Kind of a dumb little setback, but hey, it keeps you on your toes, and the animation is satisfying, so I'm cool with it. I will say, though, another thing, little gripe, the level design could use some serious work. I'm just looking for more interesting environments because, man, so much of this game is just go down this hallway, get blocked off by a red wall, which is just the demon web thing in DMC that stops you from getting from one place to the next until you kill X amount of demons. Yeah, this game has that too. And then go down another hall, and wow, look, a room. It's just kind of repetitive. Again, every area feels like a box. You know, there's very little diversity in where you're going. There's no puzzles. There's no like, oh, do this, go up to this place, and then come back down. Like, it all feels like hallways. Everything feels like hallways. It feels like you can just walk forward everywhere without really doing much else because there is very little diversity in the areas you're going in. They look nice. I especially love the area where OneeChanbara 2 would have begun, which I might include gameplay of it here, I might not. It depends if I'm lazy or not. And it's a cool looking town, and I like that. It's when Aya and Saki first team up halfway through what is the remake. You may jump every now and then in the areas, but apart from that, it's all the same. Oh yeah, another gripe as well. These mud monsters on screen that you're seeing right now, known as mudmen, okay, according to Ray, the little bitch in the phone. Yeah, they're annoying as cunt. Okay, here's how you kill one. You can't just slash it until it dies. No, that would be too normal. You have to wait for it to hit you, and then you parry it, which is basically blocking but also counter-attacking, basically, leading you to get a prompt to use a cool combo, and it's not really a combo, it's pressing square and X at the same time, it's it's not complicated. And when you do so, you rip its guts out. I don't fucking know, it's stupid. It's bad enemy design, isn't it? Because if you're going to make me sit there for a while before I time the parry just right, then I'm sorry, but that's just shit. Oh yeah, there's also Berserk mode, which is where your baneful blood goes crazy because you're killing a ton of guys, which is basically just Devil Trigger from DMC, but, you know, whatever. The design of the character rules, I'll say that, I'll put it up on screen, but it's just DMC. The concept is just straight from DMC, and you can tell it's incredibly derivative. And I can't tell if that was on purpose, but it is incredibly derivative, so what do you want me to say? Although there is Ecstasy Mode too, which is unique. which is much less common as you have to kill a lot of enemies while already in Berserk mode, so you won't do this very often. There's a trophy for activating Ecstasy mode 100 times, and let me tell you, it's not easy. Yeah, I struggled with that one even though I played the game through 5 times. Speaking of trophies, you have to play this game in every difficulty to get the platinum. However, don't worry, it's not complicated because this game is incredibly easy. This game, like DMC, has 4 or 5 different difficulties, I think. However, none of them are too tough. There's easy, normal, I think there's beast mode and berserk mode. There might be one more. Is it violent? Violent difficulty? I think it's violent. There's 5 difficulties, okay? I'll admit there were parts where I struggled while playing on the hardest difficulty, violent. But I never raged at this game for things like difficulty. I raged at parts where I was trying to get like a trophy and it just didn't work. There was one trophy where it was incredibly annoying because you have to parry one enemy, 10 times in a row. And parries are difficult to time. There's like a half a second window that you have to meet, and if you don't meet it, you're screwed. That's 10 times in a row, by the way, 10 times. Luckily, this game has a side mode known as the... what's it called? Endless Battle? Endless Battle? Where you just battle enemies in a blank arena, which is kind of fun, but it gets boring after a while, so... you won't spend much time on that. I spent quite a bit of time on it getting trophies because it's the best way to get trophies. And even though it was easy in that mode, it's still kind of annoying. Like, imagine if that mode didn't exist. Imagine trying to do that in the actual game. It would have been incredibly frustrating, and I would not have been down with that. And I wouldn't have got the platinum if I had to do that. So, you know, that tells you what you need to know about this game's trophy list. Even if it is mostly quite simple, there are the annoying ones like that one. Okay, let's talk story, and by that I mean let's talk Devil May Cry, but with less depth. Okay, I'm kidding. I actually don't know if this game was inspired by DMC, because the original PS2 ones were released pretty much exactly the same time as DMC. I'm talking like OneeChanbara 1 was released in like, fucking, I don't know, 2003 or something, I think. I'll put it up on screen anyway. So, you know, it might have been inspired by DMC, but I also don't know because I don't know how long it took to develop these games. It could have just been by chance, but they are very similar. They are very similar games, so that's why I'm going along with the joke, okay? Anyway, I'll be trying to seriously analyze this story. I'll be joking as I go along, but I will do a little segment at the end where I do say my genuine thoughts on the game's story. Because even though it's lackluster in some regards, it does have its good elements and it shows a lot of potential. Okay, so let's just talk this game's story and let's just forget about my jokes for a little bit while I delve into this. Okay, ignore how much I make fun of this game because I do like it a lot. Let's just go into it. So the game's story starts with Aya, a zombie-slaying girl out to find her sister and her father, who are missing because their mother was killed by a power-hungry woman named Eva. Oh, well, actually, no, it's Ava, I think, but it's spelt Eva. So, yeah, they do that a lot. They did that with Ray, whose name is actually, it looks like Lei. I don't know why they did that. Anyway, this Eva woman manipulates Saki, Aya's sister, right? Aya, alongside her digital companion, and by that I mean they're talking on the phone, set out to find them. Eventually, Aya finds her father, and he's a little bit insane. He tries to kill her because he's not thinking straight, and I imagine he was hallucinating or something, that Aya was Ava or something, I don't fucking know. The woman who killed his wife, because why else would he try and kill his own daughter? That doesn't make any fucking sense at all. Aya wins, of course, but does not kill him, and then he goes away again, and we don't see him for a while. After some tangents, we find Saki, Aya's half-sister, who during the fight learns she's Aya's full sister, which she doesn't initially help ease the tension, but afterwards they develop a good sibling bond with a good dynamic to go with it. Saki looked at Aya as the reason their mother was dead, and also as the father's favourite due to her being manipulated by Ava, the overarching antagonist who, like I said, is simply a power-hungry woman. And can I just say, she's similar to Arkham in this regard. Again, I'm not saying it's a direct parallel or anyone's copying anyone here, because I'm not even sure. I don't know if this game came out after or before DMC3. I know the release dates are all very, very similar. Like, they're all PS2 hack and slashes, so, you know, anyone's game, really. But yeah, she is similar to Arkham in the sense because Arkham doesn't have very much depth. He's not a deep antagonist. And neither is Ava. She represents a raw desire for power in the simplest form possible. That power being one of the Baleful bloodline, which is what makes these girls strong, and gives them their strange power to transform into, well, what is basically demons. The design of them is fantastic and honestly much better than DMC because, well, it's an art style versus what is trying to be realism, and I will always prefer an art style over a game that's with realistic graphics because realistic graphics do not age nearly as well as a game in an art style like this does. That's not me saying DMC looks bad, because it doesn't, but this game does look better than DMC. However, writing-wise and originality is not too strong here because Saki is the Virgil, she's the one in the family who feels betrayed, and Aya is the Dante, the one who's mostly going with the flow, and also let's not forget that these sisters have the same damn colours as our beloved Devil Boys. I mean, come on now, that's just... Again, I'm not trying to say this is directly copying, because they were released around the same time. I don't know who's copying who here, I just find the comparison quite humorous. Anyway, after this fight, the two make up and go to find their father together, and on the way, they meet Ray, the mystery woman on the phone, who sticks with them as an ally for a bit. Eventually, they meet their father again, who is now completely insane. That's awesome. We kill him because I don't fucking know, why not, bitch, you know? Let's just do it. I guess it shows the damage such immense power can have on others, which is pretty cool. But I mean, this guy's kind of shallow as a character because what happens to him doesn't make a whole lot of sense, and the girl's reactions don't either. Anyway, we fight Ava, the power-hungry villain bitch, before our old friend Ray is fucked up and shoots her heart. Oh, okay. No, not her heart. She shoots her head and eats her heart. Sorry, I got that mixed up. My bad. Yeah, Ray is a clone. She's basically been produced by an organization, and there are a lot of Rays. They show this during like mission 18 or something, where basically she has no individuality, pretty much. So she feels not like a person and kind of worthless as a result. And so she wants the baneful blood power, so she feels some kind of worth as an individual, which makes sense. That's pretty good writing and fits with the themes of the game, so bravo. That's pretty good. The inferiority complex she has, I don't know if I call it a complex, but the inferiority she feels also comes from a jealousy of Aya, which she outright states she wants to be Aya, and like everyone else in this fucking game, is trying to kill her to harvest whatever baneful blood demon power she has left. Obviously, this story is centered around the baneful blood and the power it holds, and in that regard, it does things quite well. It's a story about power and revenge and the consequences that come from it, and it works well on the surface. However, this game is way too fast, and short in some areas. It needed development. Okay, it needed development on these ideas and characters, and expansion on it, because in some places it just didn't get any, or enough. This game's plot laid a really good foundation for a deep, compelling, emotional story about revenge, love, family, and power. But it doesn't really delve too deep into any of the themes I just mentioned. It delves somewhat into them, but you can pretty much summarize everything the game's trying to do very easily. There's not very much symbolism, there's not too deep of characters, like, you can summarize most of these characters pretty easy. I mean, I can tell you exactly what each of these characters' motivations are very quickly, and we're done. You know, that's it. Like, they're all quite shallow. But due to the length of this game, so many ideas and characters just fall kind of flat. Well, no, not flat. This whole game screams missed potential. I'm not saying it's bad, it's good. The gameplay is really fun, and the story is decent. However, it had the potential to be great. It just wasn't, because, like I say, the story laid a foundation, but it didn't expand too much on it, and the game is too short, too quick for its own good, to the point where all these ideas are just kind of being juggled, and none of them are really being expanded upon. There's love, revenge, hate, family, all happening at once, and none of them are delved into too deeply, which is unfortunate. The father is the best example of a character that doesn't really work too well, because we see him in 2 scenes, and in both scenes the things that take place just seem nonsensical. When you look at what happened in this game's story, you'd expect an emotional ride of revenge and a lust for power, but we just don't get that. The game is completely non-serious most of the time, and in times where it tries to be serious, it doesn't work because you haven't given me enough time to care. Like, don't get me wrong, I care about the characters, I like these characters, but I don't like them enough to sit there and be like, damn. Like, it's not that deep to me. I don't care that much about what's going on. This game makes no attempt to be emotional or narratively compelling, unfortunately, And while the story itself is very solid overall, minus, not being too deep, it doesn't have enough depth or emotional value for me to super care about it. That's what I said. I mean, it's just lacking. The story itself, at surface level, is very solid. It just doesn't do enough to expand upon the foundation that it laid for these characters and ideas. I like this game, and ignoring my stupid little act of calling it a DMC clone, because like I said, the release dates were so similar, I honestly can't tell you which copied which, or if either of them actually copied anyone, or if they're just insanely similar. I can't tell you. I know I put DMC clone in the title, but I truly won't call this a DMC clone, because I don't know. Obviously, this is a remake of a game that released on the PS2 around the same time as the Devil May Cry series, so I genuinely can't sit here and call it a clone, because I don't know. Anyway, I do enjoy what this game offers, and I think it could have been much better, but due to a few narrative issues, it ends up being a pretty empty hack and slash, all things considered, unfortunately. OneeChanbara Origin is a good game. I'd give it a 7.5 out of 10. I think I said that at the start of the video, because I enjoy it, but some of its big issues stop it from being great. Thank you so much for watching this video. I have been Sam. This has been my little mini dive into OneeChanbara Origin, a game that, while lays foundations for a good story, unfortunately doesn't expand upon them and ends up being missed potential in some areas. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more content like this in the future. I will see you in the next one. Peace.
I just need to know.